Welcome to the podcast. Hey, Leanni, what's up?
Not much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here on a Saturday.
Yes.
What have you been up to today so far?
A lot, actually.
I'm sure.
A lot. I did some interview prep with someone. I had a lunch/investment opportunity, and then there was another one. Oh, then I had a workshop with TCCP's Youth Council.
Okay.
And now I'm here.
Wow, and now you're on a podcast. That is quite a bit.
Yeah.
So wait, what was the first thing? You're prepping someone to do an interview?
Yeah, for an interview. Yeah,
okay.
Interview prep.
And that's something that you do? You kind of prep people?
Yeah, a lot. So between workshops, interview training, speech training, etiquette training, a lot of that.
Right.
Leadership training.
Right. No, I see you always sort of in leadership roles, you know, when I see you in the social media world. So what was the investment opportunity? I really want to know what that is.
So I actually have two things in the pipeline. I do have a business that I just launched called the P31 Agency. And
and that's definitely what I want to talk to you about. But,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that's in the pipeline right now. I mean, I already have one client, but I'm looking to branch out a little bit. Now, I will be completely honest. It's something that I'm still trying to formalize the structure of it, what I want it to look like, what is the business description. So I'm actually working with...
CICBD?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I have an advisor there, so they've been helping me out with, all right, let's go ahead and do you walk through the 50 billion steps.
I love it.
Yeah,
I never stop wanting to do the different modules that they have in the different classes because there's just so much to learn about running business.
Oh, absolutely. It's phenomenal. I signed up for one just this coming week, I think it is.
Which one is that? The one for women?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just signed up for that. But so the overarching theme I would say is that we're a purpose-driven consultancy. So we want to be the ones leading the way when it comes to program strategy and development, as well as execution. So we don't just give you the strategies, we actually do the work. So there's an element of project management there as well. Yeah, I didn't even realize I was doing project management. I'll be completely honest with you.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's funny when you start businesses, you think you're doing one thing and then you kind of realize later, wait, actually, when I think about it, I'm actually doing this.
Yep, 100%. Because when I started it, the intention was disaster mitigation and aviation.
I remember that. Yes. The last time or one of the last times we spoke, I remember you talking about that.
That was it. That was what it was going to be. And then all of a sudden it's like, we have this program we want to launch. And do you think you could do it? And they gave me the vision. I was like, I sure do think I could. And I've been doing a really good job at it.
Huh. So who's they? They gave you?
Yeah. So I'm going to just keep that one.
Okay. Cool. So you've sort of been running with that vision and it's just kind of, it's working. Is what you like.
Yes, it's working. And it is going to be successful and it has been successful already. So what I want to do as well is take call it project outline from that and replicate it regionally. So take this and pitch it, I don't know, let's just throw some islands out there, Bermuda or Bahamas, Barbados, like Belize, like just go around the region and pitch this concept to them and see if I could get some regional.
And this is all P31?
Yeah, P31 Agency. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is Psalm 31, based on Psalm 31, is that right?
Funny, everyone asked that. It's actually based on Proverbs 31.
Proverbs 31.
Yeah.
So now I remember looking this up when we last spoke. So let's see. Proverbs. Oh, I never thought about that. Proverbs.
Yes.
Proverbs.
Yep.
So let's see.
It starts out with that one, but it's more so the second part.
So these are the wise sayings of King Lemuel's mother.
The next one.
Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Read the next one. The virtuous woman.
Yes,
This famous section describes an ideal, noble wife. It's often cited as a portrait of strong, wise, and godly womanhood. Key traits of Proverbs 31. Woman, trustworthy and hardworking, provides for her family, wise and kind, fearless of the future, praised by her husband and children, fears the Lord. The real foundation of her excellence.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what I want to live my life by. So when I was thinking of a name, I prayed very hard on it. and of course, this is like any other believer, probably asked, I hope I'm not the only one that does this, but I ask for confirmation.
Okay.
So after I'm given something, I'll be like, well, you know, God will let this person come and say something to me. And the person comes and says something to me. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Funny how that works, huh?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, every time.
And so that's the sort of situation that happened with this. You were praying for confirmation and then something happened?
Yep. Yeah, because
Okay.
I didn't know what I was going to name it. I was like, well, you want me to do this thing? What are you going to call it? You know? So it was that. And then aside from that, so that's one, that's the business. But then two, I'm also, hopefully I'll be back on later, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm actually in the process of launching my own podcast as well.
Oh, yes. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Good.
And
good.
it is the proverb. Let me
what?
take that part out.
You can. Okay.
Yeah, so it is based on Proverbs 31. So even though I'm targeting women, particularly those themes, after the very first episode, immediately one of the guys in the room is, this not just for women. He's
Nice.
like, this is not just for women.
Right.
This is for men and women and
Right.
anybody trying to take their life to that next step. And I was like, all right, bet.
I like that. I mean, you can't really extricate man from woman or woman from man either way.
No.
You know?
No.
I mean, even if you're having like sort of like a direct woman-to-woman conversation about women things, it's not like men out there won't necessarily find that interesting.
Yeah, and that's fair. That is very fair. And I found that out recently as well. Like when you happen to be talking to a woman and then a man is in the room and they were like, wow, I wish my girlfriend did that. That's helpful. I'm gonna start doing that for her.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of things in the pipeline.
Yeah.
And so that was P31. So what did you do after the investment opportunity? You went to a workshop. What's that?
Yeah, so right now, one of the things that TCCP's Youth Council has as a pillar is
And remind me, TCCP again. It's
the Caymanian Community Party.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I'm presently the chair of the Youth Council. And one of our objectives would be training. So we've gone through quite extensive training, actually, these past few weeks. We've done project management. The one today was conflict management.
okay, cool.
We're doing some communications and public speaking training 4 weeks, starting, I think it's this month. Yeah, the following Saturday, we'll start that training. And then we've done another one. We've done 2 additional ones specifically surrounding politics. So one of them was learning the difference between caucus, cabinet, parliament.
Nice.
And then the second,
I should have went to that.
it was so good. I was sitting there just being schooled, like, wow, I wish the entire population knew about this.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
and then the second one was policy development and terminology. And kind of in that same bracket, we've outlined that we also need a presenting to caucus presentation. We'd like that as well.
Huh. Wow. So that's a lot. So I kind of already forgot, but can you remind me, like TCCP, like how many members are elected in right now? Or like what's that situation?
So we have the Premier, Andre Ebanks.
Okay, so
Minister
his party.
Wilkes,
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we have Miss Heather and Mr. Ponton.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are the 4 from
So you're
TCCP.
affiliated with that party in the youth
Council.
in the youth
Yeah.
council. Okay, so you guys are pretty busy doing
Very busy.
lots of stuff.
Yeah, and I mean,
So I didn't even realize. Do I not see that? Am I not invited to that? Like,
So,
like
so
the
it
caucus
is
one
for-
sounds interesting. Like, I don't know the difference between caucus, parliament, and whatever
So
the third one
after
was.
like stating this to multiple people, there clearly is a big interest for it. So I spoke to several people about actually doing this as community events, like making these workshops something where the community can come out and learn about these things. So it is something that is in the pipeline for us to do. But aside from that, the TCCP's Youth Council is for anyone between 16 to 30, which is why you probably wouldn't have heard about
There you
it.
go.
Yeah, so even me, I have a good 2 years left in me because I'm gonna be 30 next year. So even for me, I soon about to be bumped out too. But yeah, so the workshops are just geared towards them, and we're still recruiting. So anyone who hears any message about TCCP's Youth Council at any point in time, please come on board. And especially now's the time because we're gonna have our election soon. That's one, and two, starting next year, we'll begin presenting to caucus. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please come on board.
So how you got interested in politics? And how did you get affiliated with TCCP?
It's so funny because like when people ask me that, it's like I don't feel like I'm involved in politics. I just care about my community.
Right.
I just care about my community. I care about my people. Like I care about making change and impact, right? I wish we didn't live in a world that needed to be changed, but we do. So that was kind of where my focus was. I just always been very active in the community and serving my community. And I think that is the staple for any good leader. Because I mean, Jesus himself came here and he told you, he was like, I didn't come here to be served. I came here to serve.
Right.
So if God himself came to earth and said, I want to serve, what makes me think that I must, pick up some leadership role and I must be served? That's crazy.
Right. Yeah, the way Jesus always flips things, and that's one of the things that he flipped. Like the leaders actually have to serve.
Yep.
Like that's actually how you lead.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? So that's pretty strong. I think, was that when he was washing their feet as well?
Yes.
Yeah. That's when
he washed feet. He came to this earth and washed feet. And then Peter is the funniest disciple.
Yeah, he's the best, man.
He's like, you're not gonna wash my feet. Like that's Leanni version. Like, what do you think you're doing? Like, and then, he's like, what did he say? The first will be last, the last will be first, or was it the lowest?
Well, he said that too, but I think at the time with Peter, he was like, if you don't let me wash your feet, you can't come into the kingdom with me or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Peter was like, well, then wash.
Fact check this, all right?
And then Peter was like, well, then wash my whole body or something like that, right?
Yeah. He's so dramatic.
He is. I love when he when he jumps off the boat. Wait, he jumps off the boat a couple times. The one is after the resurrection when they're in the boat and then Jesus is at the shore. Waiting for them.
Yep.
And then instead,
he couldn't wait. He could not even wait.
So he jumped off the boat to go swim into shore. That's funny. That's funny.
I think we all got a little bit of Peter in us.
I certainly feel like I do, for sure. It's like that little bit of volatility, emotionality.
Yep. Yeah. And the second time when he stepped out of the boat, it's funny because everybody talks about, oh, ye of little faith, but he the only one that stepped out.
Yeah.
He is the only disciple that stepped out the boat and was bold enough to try to walk on water towards Jesus. The only one.
And I think he took a couple steps
too.
Did. Yeah.
He is the only man except Jesus to walk on water.
He got a couple of steps in. That's great. That's great. I think about that a lot. Like, I don't know your personal feelings about like the miracles, if they were literal 100%, symbolic, both literal and symbolic. But sometimes when I'm on 7 Mile Beach, especially like on that shallow bit, and like when I was a kid, I would, we would run and just like try and run on the water, right? And it's just like, it would be such a cool thing to be able to do. To walk and run on water. Yeah,
but I think that's why Jesus doubled down when he said, you need to be childlike.
Yeah.
I saw this thing recently where it was like, Jesus never called you to be an adult. Nowhere in the Bible does it say you must be an adult.
Yeah.
It say you must be childlike. Now, granted, that's not childish. Some people misinterpret that, right?
Right. No,
but he called you to be
that's a good
childlike.
distinction. Yeah. Huh.
And I think in that moment, Peter was childlike, where he had that faith to just step out and like, all right, well, if you say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Right. A couple of weeks ago at Mass, there had the reading of, and this is the adult child thing, of Mary and Martha. And again, it's one of those things that you flip because like Martha's working hard. There's people at the house. The food has to get ready.
Yep.
Mary not helping at all.
Nope.
And Mary there talking.
Nope. She's like,
and
wow,
so you think Jesus would be sympathetic to Martha. But instead, he basically tells her, you're adulting. Get over it. Mary's, taking the childlike role, and I'm not going to take it from her. And it's just like, wow. It's like he always kind of just flips what you think the expectation would be.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, because really when I really started to look or try to put myself where Jesus was at that time, I mean, especially if you grew up in a Christian household, some of the things that Jesus, one, called you to do, and too, the claims that he made must have been so wild. Can you imagine, like, never hearing about any of this, and all of a sudden somebody tells you need to be born again? It's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Because even Nicodemus was like,
what are you talking about?
Like, I gotta go back inside my mama. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, so some of these claims were just completely wild at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
I find them wild now, a lot of them, to be honest. You know, they seem to transcend time and like, they're just always not what I expect somebody to say. He kind of always twists it, but
yeah, he told you to love your enemies. Then he had the whole thing of I am the bread of life. Like, it's just like layers upon layers of things.
Upon layers, huh?
Yeah, he called you to do the opposite of everything that you knew. That was one. And then two, the references and the claims that he made is just like, the human brain cannot understand a lot of it. Mm-hmm. You have to understand a lot of the things that he said. You have to understand in your soul. Your brain won't be able to comprehend it.
Mm-hmm. And that's like, I feel like the ultimate sort of thing when it comes to faith. Like, can you rationalize it or can you not?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Yeah, that's true too.
No, because what is it? Faith is somewhere, you probably have to look that up too. Faith is the substance of things unseen but hoped for. Or
right, exactly. Something like that.
Yeah, because and that's a good pivot into even myself when I decided to leave being a pilot. That was so wild to like everybody. Like, everybody was like, oh my gosh, it was the end of the world for some people. And I'm like, but it's me. Like, it's my life.
This
like,
has nothing to do with you. Interesting.
Yeah, when I left being a pilot, and it's so funny because like 2 years ago, I still remember, 2 or 3 years ago, I still remember telling multiple people, it's like, do you really have faith? If God told you to leave your job right now, would you? And then like last year, December rolled around and it just came back full circle. It's like, well, God told you to leave your job, will you? You know?
Interesting.
So what I had been preaching is like, are you going to practice it?
Right. And so that's when you walked away from being a pilot, end of the year, last year?
Yeah, so I didn't walk away until February. So I resigned in December, and then my last day was in February.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was hard.
Why was it hard?
Because I worked on that since I was 15.
15. And I wanted to ask you when you got into that. So why, what happened? What was going on around 15 when you're like, you know, I want to become a pilot? Is that what it was?
I think I was like every kid. Like, I was like, I want to be a detective and I want to be a police officer and this and that. And then it was like one day it was just like, I think I want to be a pilot. And obviously my dad had been in aviation my entire life. Okay. He was like one of Cayman Airways dinosaurs. Like,
okay, cool.
Yeah, so he retired now with 4 to 5 years of experience in aviation.
Wow, 45 years?
4 or 5.
Oh wow, so you came from that background. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So he left Cayman Airways as a safety manager, but he started out as one of those guys that would take the bags and put them on the conveyor belt. That's how he started off in Cayman Brac.
Huh.
Yeah, and then, worked his way up through the ranks. Yeah. So, but he, oh my gosh, he has such a love and a passion for it. Like, you won't get him excited, just like either aviation or safety, and then he's just like alive.
Right. So was he disappointed when you walked away?
I wouldn't say disappointed, but he was hurt.
Yeah.
He was hurt by it. And he was one of my biggest supporters. And I have to say, like, huge thank you to my dad, because when I said I wanted to be a pilot, a lot of people, especially women above anybody else, looked at me like I was crazy. Like, you want to be you a girl? Like, my dad was like, go for it. Go for it.
Aww. So what was that like when you were 15? Like, what was the next steps? Like, when you at 15, you're like, I want to be a pilot. And when did you actually become a pilot?
So 15, I actually had a family friend, Jamal Estwick, who was a pilot at the time. Either that or he wasn't about to go off to school to be a pilot. So I started to speak to him about it. And he was a massive, he encouraged me every step of the way. Then I ended up in mentoring Cayman through the Chamber of Commerce. And I met my mentor, Miss Jeanette Goodman. She ended up having me speak to other pilots. She took me to Island Air at the time. Now it's called Atlantic.
Right.
She took me there. I did a whole tour of the hangar. I did a tour of Cayman Airways hangar. Like, she gave me the whole rundown, like the whole thing. But when I was at Island Air, they were like, like, we take interns all the time if you wanted to, like, sign up.
Okay.
And I might have been 16 or 17 at the time. I can't remember. But yeah, I started working there every break I got. Like, every break I got. It was summer, Easter, whatever it was, I was there, and I just loved the smell of jet fuel. Like, I just was like, yes, this is great,
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was my thing. And then at the time, too, then it was, once you roll into those years, it's like, all right, now it's time to apply for scholarships and apply for universities and that. I started talking to Brian Seals, and he kind of another pilot at Cayman Airways, and he started to kind of coach me through what the process would look like. And I just started applying for everything. I applied for every scholarship under the sun. I only applied to Florida Tech. That was the only university. So
why?
I don't know what it was. Like, it's so strange. Like, now that I look back, it's like everything was so intentional with me. Like, if I knew that was what I wanted, I went and I got it.
Right.
Like, that was it. Like, I was one of them people.
Right.
Like, once my mom will, like, my mom especially, my whole family, but my mom in particular, because it annoys her. She will tell you, Leanni, once she gets something in her mind, you can't change it. And it's true, because literally, if God himself don't, like, come to me and be like, nope, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it because one, now especially, and at the time I wasn't very faithful, but now the reason why I'm so headstrong is because I don't do anything unless he tells me, right? But at the time, I don't even know why it was Florida Tech, but I just knew that was a school I was going to. And if I didn't get into that school, well, I don't know, Air Force or Navy or something, I don't know. Because I was a cadet at the time.
A cadet where?
The Cayman Islands Cadet Corps.
Okay.
So I did that. I think I started out when I was 14. Yeah. I started in the Cadet Corps when I was 14. And matter of fact, I might have wanted to be a pilot since I was 14. Because two of them kind of went in tandem.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was a cadet from the time I was like 14, and it kept on going right through adulthood. I just took a break the 4 years that I was in university. But as soon as I came back, I jumped in as an adult. And started helping kids. Okay. Yeah.
So when did you start flying? And what were you flying? And where were you flying?
So I started flying in 2016 at Florida Tech. And what was the first thing? The first thing I flew was a Piper Cherokee. It's a tiny little plane, just 4 seats. And
that's what you guys like had to learn on one of these? Wow.
Yeah, very little tiny plane. Yeah. So that's what I learned on. And then
and so the very first time you went up, it was cool? You weren't like...
Oh, actually, before I even did that, at 17, my parents wanted to confirm if that's really what I want.
So what happened? What did
my birthday that year, so I was 16 turning 17, my birthday that year, my dad gave me, the flying club was still active. My dad gave me a gift certificate for what was called a discovery flight. So with a discovery flight, essentially you just go up and fly around and just see if you like it.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so the instructor, he was like, all right, well, he was like, you either hate it or you love it. There's no in between. I can tell you from now, I've never met anybody with an in between.
Interesting.
And needless to say, I was the one who loved it. So after that, I knew.
You knew. So that's interesting that they have discovery flights, right? Because it would make sense. Like I don't know what it's like going up flying a plane. That first time that you're doing that. And then you realize you have to, because I obviously don't know how to fly a plane, but for me, from what I understand, taking off seems a little easier than landing, right?
100%.
So like the takeoff, okay, but then when you're up there, you're like, okay, now I actually have to land this.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, you go up with an instructor. So you have an instructor that takes you up. Once you get up, then they kind of give you the controls that you like pull it back, turn it a little bit. There's also controls on your feet, which kind of makes the aircraft do this.
What's that called again?
It's called so those on the ground, they're called the rudders, but the movement is called a yaw.
Huh.
Yeah. So you just do
And
that.
what do you do that movement for?
One of the main things is, there's different forces acting on the aircraft. With lift, there also comes gravity, and then what's it called? I can't remember the forces. But if you go forward, there's also drag pulling you back.
Right. So it's like the cause and effect thing.
Yeah.
So you're saying that the same amount of lift that lifts the plane, there's an oppositional force to that?
Always.
At that moment?
Always.
And
Opposite.
where is that oppositional force on the top of the plane?
Yeah. So it's pushing you down. So gravity is pushing you down, but lift is lifting you up. So that's
right. The gravity is constant, I guess.
Yes.
So that's still going to be there.
Yeah. So with an aircraft, I don't know what makes people the way how an aircraft flies is lift. Mm-hmm. Because it wouldn't be able to stay in the air without it. So essentially, there's airflow over the wing, mm-hmm. and the airflow that goes around the wing and under it pushes that wing up. Mm-hmm. And that's what keeps an aircraft in the air. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so going back to the why do you need yaw, when you bank the aircraft and you're doing this, what tends to happen is the aircraft will move. It's called like you're being uncoordinated, so it will try to move in like the wrong direction. So when you step on the rudders, it keeps you from. It's really, I have a hard time simplifying things, but it like keeps it from. It keeps it from being uncoordinated, because when you're uncoordinated, it can cause, and especially if you do this too steep, which they don't usually do that in commercial aircraft. Right. But if you're flying like on your own and you're doing that too steep without coordinating, you can actually end up in what's called a spin.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why it's really important that you keep the aircraft coordinated.
Wow.
Yeah, but we never ever bank that hard with commercial aircraft.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what did you fly?
So
just Cayman Airways?
Yeah, that was it. So it was just the little pipers at flight school. Once I moved up to multi-engine, then we flew what was called a Seminole, which was obviously dual engines now versus the one that you see on that photo.
So that's one engine?
Yeah.
So why would you go up in the air with one engine? I don't understand that. Is that a thing?
I mean, it's flight. First of all, it's flight school, and two, it's in Florida. There's like a airport every blink away. Literally the entire coast of Florida.
Yeah.
Bare airports.
So are you saying then that if your engine gives out with you when you're in the air, you can still land it?
You're pretty fine. The only place where I was a little bit scared was flying down to Miami. There's a portion where air traffic would always make you fly ridiculously low. I think if my memory serves me right, they made you fly at like 1,000 feet. And you were over the Everglades. And the Everglades is nothing but swamp. Right. Nothing but swamp and everything that could probably kill you. Right. So I was like, I think every pilot's worst nightmare was that, because it's like, please don't make me lose an engine. Please don't make me lose an engine. Please. Right. Like the whole time. Huh. Yeah. But thankfully it was fine.
Okay. So I never actually was sure. I thought, I mean, again, I don't know. I just thought that if you're flying and then the engine goes out, I imagine that the pilot would have to keep going like this. No. So what you do is you actually pitch up. Really?
So if you're flying like this, you're flying straight. Mm-hmm. Usually you pitch up a little bit. Typically, and I haven't been in an aircraft where you don't, because you're looking for a particular speed. And that speed will usually allow you to go further. So that's why you're pitching for that. So we train for that. So the first thing you do is pitch. You're speaking to the air traffic controller to let them know what just occurred, the description of your aircraft, how many souls on board, how many people on board, and at the same time you're looking to see where you can land.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what we train for consistently.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so you'll be flying around and your instructor literally, so usually the throttles are right here, so where you have your powers right here. They'll just pull it back. They'll be like, all right, you just lost your engine, where are you gonna land?
So they'll actually do that?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yep. And you just do exactly that. And once, just before you get to, because 500 feet, you can't go below that. That's a legal requirement.
Okay.
You can't go below 500 feet. Once you get just before that, then they'll be like, all right, you did good, or maybe you didn't. I don't know. And then they'll just bring you back
Say,
up.
come back up.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep. But we train, and that's why, like, every time there's like any emergency or anything, like, everyone else is freaking out, but the pilots are we just holding it together like a G.
Yeah.
Because we train for it. We train for almost everything you can imagine.
Is that right?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, especially engine failures. Especially.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
You know? Huh. So what then you used to fly between, you used to fly Miami too?
No. So for Cayman Airways, I only flew the Twin Otter, which was between the sister islands. So Little Cayman, Brac.
Okay.
That was it. Okay. Yeah. The only other place that I got to fly to was Jamaica, but that was a training flight.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
So you would fly between Brac, Grand, and Little? Yep,
every day, over and over and over.
So is how many times a day you did that? Like what?
Typically, four. Yeah. So there were 8 legs. So typically, in the morning would be Little Cayman, Brac, Little Cayman, Brac. Then you come back in the evening, you do the same thing. Or like it depends on like a weekend. Like right now, you might just go back and forth a few times. The most was 12 legs,
12
and a
in
leg.
1 day?
Yeah, I mean I'll be honest with you. The worst times, and it's pretty okay. The only time when it's not okay is summer, because it is so hot in there.
In the plane?
It is ridiculously hot. The Twin Otter has no AC.
It doesn't, does it?
It is torture. I gotta just be honest with you. It is rough. Like it's so funny because we have what's called I'll just speak for myself. I had what was called a first officer tan. Okay. So for those of you who don't know what that is.
Yes, like me. What does that mean?
So that means that because I sit on that side, I sit on the right side of the aircraft. This entire arm was brown. Okay. Brown. And this one, fine. But this one, brown.
Well, because that's where the sun was rising or setting, or that just...
Because you sit on that side, that's the side that the window is, and you're being scorched.
I see.
So this whole side of your body is just sizzling.
So whoever flies those Twin Otters, the first officer goes through the first officer tan scenario, pretty much.
Yeah. So I had a sleeve that I started to fly with, but sometimes it's just like to get that on in the middle of all the business. It's just, whatever. But yeah.
I think you flew me once. I can't really remember.
I feel like I did too. Possibly.
I remember going to the Brac once for a shoot, and both of the pilots were women. Both, I was so proud. I didn't know you all.
Oh, that wasn't me. That definitely wasn't me.
Sure?
Because it was so sad. By the time I got in the Twin Otter, the captain, the only female captain, Crystal Gadet, she had already moved on to the Saab.
Okay.
Yeah, so who might have flew you was Amber, but a lot of people mixed me up with her because she has really short hair, like I did too.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was
But it was two women. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I wanted to fly with Crystal so bad, like so bad. I couldn't. Yeah.
No, but I was proud that day because I didn't really think about pilots that much, I guess.
Yeah.
And then that day, we were shooting. It was like, I think a Department of Tourism commercial as well.
Nice.
So it was like, we were all a little proud. And then like, 2 Caymani women are flying us back. It was a pretty cool moment.
I think I still remember the day when I found out she made captain too. Like I was truly inspired. And then especially get into like, I didn't work directly with her, but obviously like the pilots, we work in the same environment. She is such a humble person, and it's crazy because she is so qualified. Like she's a flight instructor. She's not just like, she has her master's in aviation safety. She's a captain. Like I was just like, this woman is just amazing. Like and rarely, especially in Cayman, you find a pilot like her. Yeah, she's a phenomenal, and then anyone who flies with her will tell you she is a phenomenal pilot.
And what's her name again?
Crystal Gadet, Captain Crystal Gadet. Yeah, yeah, yep.
Huh.
And she's from the Brac.
I believe that, man. You Brackers are like what you call like that percentage of Jewish people who have that like that like super smart gene. I swear the Brackers got that, yeah. They got like that gene, that Brac gene that just make them smart at whatever it is that they do.
Yeah, my dad's a Braca too, so I mean he just
So then you flew those for how long, and then why did you decide to walk away?
So I flew, when did I start? I started Cayman Airways in 2022. And I left this year, February 2025, because I know God was calling me for something else. Mm-hmm. At the time, full disclosure, I was interested in running in the elections. Mm-hmm. So going back to your very initial question about politics, I was interested in running the elections, not necessarily because it was something that I had thought of or anything like that. It's just since I was 17, people had been asking me if I would ever run since I was 17, and it never went away. And this last election, I have never been asked more in my life. Like so many people were like, you should run, you should run, you should run. And it's not something that I take lightly. I feel like some people have this misconception or misunderstanding. Politics is not for the faint of heart, one, right? And two, it's a massive responsibility to be the leader of a country. That is something very serious. So I took it as it was an honor for people to come to me and ask me and request that I become a leader of the country. But it was something that was scary and daunting. Because if anything goes wrong, it's you. It's a mishap that you caused, you know? I mean, and unfortunately, the state of the country right now is something less than favorable. And who's getting blamed? And not the average Joe. It's the past leaders of the country.
Right.
So that was something that I had to think long and hard about. It just happened that the timing and certain things didn't work out. And I thought it was best that I waited. I'm sure I probably should have and could have still went ahead. But it just things weren't playing out. And like I said, I'm a strong person in terms of faith. So if God, like, I knew that was the path God was leading me down. But at the same time, there was one thing, literally one thing that didn't work out. And I was
that's all
like,
you needed to know?
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. And I was like, okay. And then I pivoted. And within that same breath, how I got involved with TCCP, before, it was the day after I resigned, I ended up reaching out to, it was way before that. I ended up reaching out to Andre. I don't know why. I didn't know him. I knew every other politician, but when I prayed about it, God said, go talk to Andre. So I was like, I don't know him, like what? So I somehow got his number, I messaged him, and I ended up calling him the day after I resigned and telling him what had just occurred, and that, I was just honest with him. I was like, I hope you don't think I'm crazy, but out of faith, I resigned from my job, and, God told me come talk to you. And he was like, God did something similar for him when he took that first step, right? So we had a really good conversation. Fast forward to February now. There was a lot of dialogue back and forth with me contemplating running.
Okay.
And February rolled around. I made the decision not to. And he said, listen, we want to start a youth council. It's in our constitution. We want a youth council, and we think you'd be perfect to be the chair, the inaugural chair. And I said, give me a day or two to think about it. And I did, and I prayed on it, and I said, yes, I accepted. Obviously, in the heat of all of that, there was like a lot of, I didn't even get into politics, but just me even considering running, oh my gosh, there is so much that happened behind the scenes. I was so confused. I was like, even like the family tension, like it was a lot. it was a lot, and everything is good now because, you know, elections is over. But at that time, like, that's why I said, like, politics is not for the faint of heart.
Right.
Like, you gotta be strong, and you have to be sound in who you are as a person. Yeah, because that was,
Yeah, no,
that was something.
I hear you. Sounds like a big responsibility, and you know, it reminds me of what you were saying just now about Captain Crystal Gadet, and how she's despite her accomplishments, she's humble, and I feel like you have to be. I mean, if you're gonna take over a country, like, I feel like there's two things: you're either like completely proud narcissist and I deserve to run this country, or like, I don't deserve to run this country. This is like, how, you know, God help me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think ideally you want the humble person.
Yep.
And because I think they understand the direty of the situation and what that responsibility is.
Yeah.
And to those who have more responsibility, you know, more will be demanded of that person.
Yeah.
So yeah, to hear you just, you know, talk about, you know, just sticking your toe in and all that happened with that, you know, that's quite the thing to go after. But I can see why people would ask you that.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, they're not going to stop asking you that. So, yeah. So is this it? Are you announcing that you're running in 4 years?
I can't say that because I have no idea, especially with starting a business right now.
Right.
Because realistically, the main reason why I was like, okay, I think I will, or okay, I will do this, was because like every other member of TCCP's Youth Council, we just want to make an impact. That's all it is.
Right.
We just want to make an impact for the better. We see where the country is headed. We feel the young people are feeling the repercussions of poor choices. And as a result, we just wanted to make a difference and make change where we didn't feel so hopeless, right? And didn't pick up and leave. I watch way too many of my friends pick up and leave. That sucks.
That does suck. That always kind of hurts, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, especially when it's a good friend and a good talent, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so that was kind of the reasoning, but I don't know. One, so with the business itself, if that gets to a point where maybe that might be the vessel that I use to create change and impact, then I would be fulfilling my life calling and purpose. I wouldn't necessarily need to pursue something like that. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I literally taking in each day, I write down in my journal, all right, God, what you want me to do today? And that is exactly what I do.
Yeah. I read this prayer the other night, and it was like God divided time into, you know, months, weeks, days, hours, and minutes, and it was something along the lines of, because that's all you sort of need to know.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and that really, I don't know why that hit me so hard, but it actually hit me really hard. And like throughout the day, you know, you could tend to like worry about something in the future, but it's like, I have an hour. That's actually all I need to worry about right now, is that hour. And that was very impactful for me. You know, it's like you can do valuable things within these little minutes instead of like worrying about some vague scenario.
Yeah. It took me a lot of learning though, because I'm not gonna lie, when God gives you like a vision or he tells you what your calling and purpose is, you kind of just take off. And in that process of taking off, he's still all the way back there. I'm like, you've left him. Like, he back there, like, where you going? Like, where you going? And that's honestly what I did a lot of the times.
Right.
So now that's why I've had
that's that Peter thing. You know?
That's why I say we all have Peter in us. Me, I am the problem. But yeah, it took me some time to learn, like you said, each minute, each hour, just invite him there so that I can do his work. Because it's not about me. This has never been about me. Never, ever, ever. All I want is to be a mirror that reflects God everywhere I go in everything I do.
Beautiful. So how did you get into religion? And I know most Caymanians are raised, Christian, but I find not everyone stays Christian.
Yeah.
So how did that happen for you? What was your journey, I guess, from a kid? Like, what was your earliest experience with God, or, praying to God or anything like that?
That is an excellent question, which I guess would pivot into my testimony. So I actually grew up not just in church, but my grandfather was a pastor, a well-known pastor in Cayman Brac, and he was one of the people who helped to build Red Bay Church.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was one of the OGs, right?
Right. I see that church, and I was wondering the other day if people still go to that church.
Yeah, not as much. It used to be packed though, but I think people have recently started to go back.
Okay.
It just had like this really rough season where like everyone left.
Well, I feel like because there's so much traffic there now with that roundabout. It's like it used to kind of just be there by itself, but now it's like so many other things. You can drive right past it without even realizing it's there.
Because it is in the back too. Yeah, it's like.
Oh, it's the one in the back.
It's in the back.
Not on the main road.
No, it's the one in the back. It's on what is it called? I can't remember.
The main Red Bay Road?
So if you go down that road, it's like to the right. I can't remember the name of the road. It has something to do with Christianity though. I can't remember. It might like be holy something or something. I can't remember.
No, hold on. We're going to find this.
Yeah.
Let me bring up Google Maps.
Yeah, it's a Red Bay Church.
Okay, so so this is Hurley's coming down here.
Yeah, so
it's Selkirk Drive, right?
Yeah, just go all the way down Selkirk.
More? Lord's Way.
Lord's Way.
Wow.
That's what it was. Yeah, so down Selkirk and then turn on to Lord's Way. And then the church is right here.
Wow, I need to go down there again. I forgot about all of that back there.
Yeah, so that was the church I grew up in. I grew up in Red Bay Church.
And this is the church right here, right?
Yeah.
Is it there? Yeah, because right when you turn, I've been down there a bunch of times. Okay. And so your grandfather started that church?
He didn't start it, but he was one of the very first pastors and one of the first members there. Yeah, and then he ended up, of course, being a Braca. He went back to the Brac and preached at the two sister churches, which was in Creek and Spot Bay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so he was instrumental in sort of, when you were a kid, getting you into being a Christian?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so, because I would spend a lot, like as a little kid, like probably before the age of like, I would say probably before the age of 13, I spent a lot of time in Cayman Brac.
Okay.
Like every break I was in Cayman Brac. And one period of time, my family had moved to Belize, but I was not the most well-behaved child.
Okay.
So they actually sent me back.
To Cayman?
Your
own family? It's like, you need to go back to Cayman?
Oh, my mama, she was like, I can't handle her.
Oh.
So they sent me back, and I spent a lot of time. I spent like probably a year almost in the Brac with my grandparents before they finally sent me back to Belize, because then she missed me. So then, yeah. So once I went back we came back to Grand Cayman, it was just after Ivan. So I was over there for 4 years. I was in Belize for 4 years. Once we moved back, like every single break that we had, and I was like the only grandkid that kept going, because my siblings, they'd get bored and they'd be like, oh, mom's bring us back home. Sure. So I would stay. Like, I just love to be around my grandfather. I just love to go to the youth group and the Sunday schools and even the prayer meetings. I was the only little kid hanging out with all the little mamas and papas up in there, like I was the only one getting, the little butterscotch candies from them and stuff. Yeah, so that's kind of where it started. And I'll be honest with you, around the age of, I think it was 15, was when I think everyone in my age group experienced something similar to this. And I've recently heard the term that has been dubbed church hurt, where there's certain things that you observe, whether that be hypocrisy or something similar. Hypocrisy seems to be the most common theme when people, and I, like most of my peers, did a hard pivot out of church. And then not only that, but there were some other factors at play as well in terms of like the school that I went to. Like it was just so shoved down your throat that it just turned you away, right? Because it was very much so religiosity, which is what was happening with the very people Jesus was speaking against, right? Was that spirit of religiosity. So it was very rare that you found someone who had a true relationship with Christ, that true connection with Christ, right? So for a lot of years I was lost. So from the age of 15, probably right up until I went to university, like, don't talk to me about God, don't talk to me about Jesus. Now, mind you, the minute something wrong, who you call on? Right? Straight to Jesus. But if nothing was wrong, my average day, don't ask me go to church, don't ask me nothing like that. And
then what happened?
When I was in university, I actually ended up in a relationship, and the guy at the time, he was very persistent in asking me to go to church with him. He was actually a 7-day Adventist, and I was like, dude, nobody goes to church on Saturday. Like, like I made every excuse under the, like in the book, like every excuse. And one Sunday I decided to go, and it wasn't until the second time I
Saturday.
went. Yeah, right. True. One Saturday I decided to go with him. And then it wasn't until the second time I went. I still can't tell you what the preacher said. I only can remember what I felt in my heart. And it was, I want to be more Christ-like. And in that moment, I just knew I needed to figure out who, I really needed to learn who this Christ was so that I can be more like him. And it started very small. It started with me praying over my food, which was something he did regularly, right? So I kind of adopted that, where I made sure that I prayed over my food. That turned into me, the Bible app was out by then. So I started to play my Bible app because I couldn't stand reading. Don't ask me to read.
Okay.
So I stared to
Like the audio version of it then? Cool.
Yeah. So I used to play it, and I used to actually fall asleep listening to it. And I don't know, things just, and I was listening to a lot of those motivational stuff, and they had, a lot of them spoke about God. A lot of them, like Les Brown and
I remember that name.
what's his name? Something Miles.
No.
Miles Monroe. Is that what it was?
That kind of rings a bell too.
He's from the Bahamas.
Okay.
Yeah, so him. So I started listening to a lot of these motivational speeches, and fast forward, by the time I came back home, my parents didn't recognize who I was.
Aww.
Like, I was a completely different person. When I left Cayman, and because when you've been so embedded in, like, what was it? So between the age of 15 to 19, I just was going down a really bad path. Like, I used to drink very heavily. I mean, you're Belizean too. The Belize culture is just bare alcohol, like nothing but alcohol. They start drinking from probably 12, So that was my world when I was in Belize. So yeah, I used to drink really heavy, party really heavy. Got involved with some of the Caribbean groups in Florida. I used to plan all the fests, and I mean massive, like for like 23 schools.
Aww.
We used to have all of them coming out, and it's just like, then all of a sudden my life started going down. Then now I found Jesus, and I stepped away from everything. It was just, it's crazy to see like how he pivoted my life, because I didn't like the taste of alcohol anymore. Like, I just, it's weird, because these were all things that I used to tell myself, you need to stop that before you go to God. You need to stop that. It's not until I went and started looking for him that I stopped everything.
Right.
Everything. It just kind of naturally fell off. You don't crave it anymore.
Right. Because
You've substituted it with something else that's more interesting and exciting to you,
that fulfills you. Like, when your identity is now found in something so powerful, so magnificent, like you just don't ever want anything else. My identity used to be found in my friendships, even in my job. It used to be found in all the things that you can go and find in the world.
Yeah.
But not until I really found him, and I really let him in, because that's the thing, you can find him, but you mightn't let him in. when I really started to let him in, and every year it's looked different. Like I've evolved. Oh my goodness. I've changed every year. Every year. And sometimes it can be frustrating. If there's anyone who is literally going through this process, let me tell you, you will consistently be changing, and every single time you will feel like you will be frustrated, because as soon as you figure it out, it feels like you're back to square one. But it's because God is leveling you up once again. Every time I feel like I figured out my life, something else happened. I now have stability. I'm a pilot. Like, okay, now quit. What?
Yeah.
What? Like, what do you mean? So yeah, like the closer I get to him, I don't know.
Crazier things seem to happen. There's like this and that, and then
yeah, everything in my life, the way how it's played out, it's all been just little steps with him. I mean, I even got saved during COVID. I got saved in my bedroom. Like,
and what does that look like?
That was a whole process too. Because at the time, the usual about a lockdown, I was working from home. Thank the Lord, I still had a job.
Okay.
And I happened to be, one of the things that I had learned from that relationship as well was how to tithe. Okay. So you take 10% of whatever your pay is, and you typically give it to a church, but the summary is you dedicate it to God.
Right.
That is what you're doing. So you dedicate it to God. And I had saved up all this tithe money, and I didn't know what to do with it. We in the middle of COVID. People are suffering. People are struggling. People don't have jobs. People can't eat. People can't feed their children. I was a call taker at the time in the National Emergency Operations Center. And to hear...
Is there anything you didn't do? Like, wow.
I did a lot.
So you were at the call center?
Yeah, so I was in the call center, and some of the stories were just heart-wrenching, honestly. And I was like, all right, God, I think it's time. When that happened, I just said a very long prayer. I had this thing that I used to do when I used to flip through my Bible, stopped at a page, wherever the page told me to stop. I'd read through it. Usually it'd make sense.
Right.
It didn't make sense this time.
Okay.
Like the passage had no relevance to exactly what I was praying for.
Right.
And this pastor came to mind because during the time of COVID, we had these press briefings where the pastors would come on in the beginning and they'd pray before the press briefing began.
I remember.
So there was this one pastor that came to mind, and I went back to go through all of the briefings to find this pastor.
Right.
So I found him. I found the church he was associated with, and I looked up the church. In the process of looking up the church, like I found the page on the pastor, and when I went back to the Bible, I noticed the book I was in, and I noticed the pastor's name.
What book?
Jeremiah.
Okay.
That was the pastor's name.
Interesting.
And I was like, the same time I realized that, the song starts to repeat on Calvary, because I'm listening to at this point, God had already told me, wipe your playlist, all Christian music. So I was listening to my usual Christian music, and the song starts to repeat, on Calvary, you looked at me. Like it keeps repeating it, on Calvary, you looked at me, on Calvary, you looked at me. And I go back and I look at my computer, and there's a church named Calvary Baptist Church. And I was like, I couldn't even comprehend what had just taken place. I literally ran out, got my mom, was like, Mom, you never believe what just happened. So I tell her.
Just keep your mom on her toes, man.
Yeah, my mama, like during that time, like my mama was so stumped. She was like, how does God talk to you like that? Like, he don't talk to me like that. And he's like, I know he talked to you because when you told me no stuff would happen. So so I knew my mama could hear from God, all right? But yeah, so I found that church, and through that church, consistently attending, one day the pastor's wife asked me if I wanted to be saved. And I was like, yeah, I do. And we did it over the phone. She just called me one day and we did it over the phone. And then fast forward, I didn't stick it out with that church, but I ended up at Pastor Felix, Journey Ministries. I ended up there, and through that church, I got baptized. So at the end of 2020, I got baptized, and my life has never been the same since. Never. But it didn't. no, not everybody tells you this. At that point, that is when it gets harder, because when the devil realizes he is losing a soul. But at that point, I was prepared, because I had tried to be. I had said that I had been saved before, right? But at that point, I knew I didn't want anything else in this world, because I had tried the world. I had tried to do things that the world did. I had tried to find, like I said, my identity in the world. And at that point, I knew I don't want anything but Jesus. I don't care how many times I mess up, I'm going right back to you. I don't care. I'm going right back to you. And I've messed up a lot since. A lot more than I would like to admit. And I've had to go right back to the source. Here I am again, my bad. You know, like, you still love me, right? Like, yeah.
So let me ask you a question, because this is a problem I have as a Christian. Is the sort of, it's, I guess it's the world versus the kingdom of God question. And what I sometimes struggle with is, you know, I love running my company. I love producing. You know, it inspires me. You know, it's cathartic. But sometimes I wonder if it's all nothing in the eyes of God, you know? And I don't know why. I'd like to think that it's not. Otherwise, why am I doing it?
Yeah.
Because that definitely wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
I don't think that it is. I think this is definitely where God wants me and what I'm doing. But it's just hard for me to know the difference between, you know, what you call the world and, you know, the kingdom of God. While you're here on earth, because I can't see, oh, there's the world over there and there's the kingdom of God here. All right, I'm going to walk over here. It's like, it's all mixed together.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what is what. Do you struggle with that, or do you have conflicts with that as well, or is not so much?
If I have conflict, confusion, and especially fear, I remind myself where that comes from. Especially in terms of confusion and fear, those two things come from the devil. Those two things, because there's a verse, I have it highlighted in my Bible app because I constantly have to come back to it. But it says that God does not give you a spirit of fear, but of peace and love and a sound mind. Consistently have to go back to that. But there is a level of understanding that the talents and the gifts that you have, God gave them to you. Right? Now, the only thing I will challenge you with is, have you ever used them for the kingdom? Right? And it's not to say that God doesn't want, because that's between you and him. God will speak to you, is whether or not you decide to listen. But with the work you're doing, I would say maybe one thing is, can you do one thing for the kingdom with your gifts and talents as well? Because the example that I would give is, I do hosting, I do coordinating. I just told you I do project management that I didn't know I was doing. I do a lot of public speaking. I do a lot of stuff like that sometimes brings me money as well. But I have now found myself, which I never thought I would do, I now find myself serving at the church that I'm now a part of, which is CIAG. I do the welcome and the announcements. So that is at least one way that I get to use the talents that God gave me for the kingdom. And I've even gone away to do that, to share, you know, different testimonies on, this is the work that God has done for me. I don't charge for it. I just tell them cover my airfare and food.
Right. And
I go and I do that. Even locally, I'll go speak to like kids in random places, like schools, or recently I finally did get invited to a church youth group to speak to them as well. So that is my way of, I'm using the gifts that God gave to me to make sure I have food on the table, but I also have one element, or well, in my case, multiple elements of how I'm also serving the kingdom as well.
It's like a tithe. Yeah, I like that. And I like the reminder about the fear, uncertainty, and doubt element of things. Like, you're right, that only comes like from one sort of thing. And it may be a sort of scenario where somebody is actually being effective for the kingdom of God, and then they start to doubt it. Like, you know, obviously, you know where that's coming from, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because that's why I said, like, when I wanted to leave my job, there was I can't even tell you how much fear. Like, I was crippled.
Right.
I was crippled.
Huh.
And sometimes when you dive deep, you can't even remind yourself. Somebody else had to remind me.
Yeah.
Where does fear come from? And I was like, right.
Huh. It's so crazy when you do a change like that in your life, that it's how other people respond to it seems to be such a big deal, you know, as opposed to your own. This is like my life. It's my decision. This is what I'm doing, but everyone else is freaking out about it. You know, it's pretty bizarre.
Yeah. But I guess, like, I know a big thing was, you know, like, I'm one of the very few females in that arena. Right. But what I did tell people is now I have a lot more time on my hands. I get to help a lot of young pilots. People will never know. People will never see it. And that is completely fine with me. But they lost one pilot, but they're gaining so many more. Mm-hmm. So many more. The amount of people I can mentor and guide now. I even, I hope it works out, but I actually want to do a workshop on how to become a pilot.
Cool.
So, I mean,
nice.
So I have time to do stuff like that. Before I didn't. Couldn't do that. When would I have the time? And if I had the time, I'd be tired.
And I think, you know, with you being a pilot, like that, you'll know no one will ever take that away from you. So in some sense, even though you're not a pilot anymore, you still are a pilot as an identity. Because even when I found out that you were a pilot, I was blown away. And then, like, you know, every time I see you, I'm like, wow, she can fly planes. Like, you know, that's pretty crazy. You don't meet a lot of people that can fly planes, you know, that even want to fly planes. Yeah. And they're pretty magnificent machines, you know, and we see them landing in Roberts. I mean, you get up close and personal. You can't get, you know, I know there's that one Caribbean island or whatever, it flies like right over the beach. But so I think I think walking away, to me, just seeing it, I don't think you really walked away from that, you know?
Yeah.
So that's cool that, you know, you have these workshops and stuff where you still want to, you know, do that sort of stuff.
Yep.
So tell me about Belize.
Oh.
So you lived there for 4 years, and where in Belize did you live?
So it was kind of a mix. So we actually lived just outside the city, or in the outskirts of the city. We lived in where it was called Burrelboom, but everything else was in the city. Yeah, so I went to school in the city.
And what ages were you at this point?
Gosh, how old was I? Like 5, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah, I was 5 because I left when I was 9.
Wow, so you were pretty young. So you between 5 and 9, you were in Belize?
Yep.
Wow, so you can speak Creole? No,
it's funny though, because anytime I come back, like, I can feel it when I'm there. Whenever I'm there, the accent starts to, like, come in, and I'm like, you a Caymanian, like, yeah. So when I come home too, like, sometimes it slips out when I talking to my mom, but honestly, like, it could come out. It could. Yeah, it's so weird because at that time, like, I used to speak so bad to the point that when I came back to Cayman, like, everybody was like, why is she talking?
Interesting.
Like, all the little kids, you know how kids are. They're like, why does she sound like that? Like, what kind of accent is that? Like,
I love Creole. That's my favorite accent in the English language. But the thing I find about Belize is that when you go to Belize and you speak to somebody, they immediately in half a second know that you're not Belizean because you can't speak Creole.
100%.
It's like
that's why I try not to talk Creole, because they will be like, your Creole sound weird, you know, like.
Exactly, right? There's almost like a look of disappointment on their face when you don't speak Creole.
Yeah, they're like,
sorry, my family's Belizean, but I don't speak Creole.
They're like, you a bootleg.
But I love the language, and I can hear it in my head.
Yep.
But the words cannot come out of my mouth.
It's like, y'all, what you to talk about?
Exactly.
That's how they talk.
Yes, exactly. It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
So you were just outside of Belize City then. So you were in the city.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up in the city. I went to Holy Redeemer.
Really? That's where my parents went. Yeah. I thought for some reason that Holy Redeemer, was it co-ed? Or was
it was co-ed, and it's not until you really go, well, yeah, as far as I'm aware, it's not until you go to, like, high school is where they separate you with boys
I
boys
see.
one school, girls one
Yeah,
school.
no, I always remember my dad talking about Holy Redeemer.
Yeah, yes, I went to and that's a funny thing too, because it's interesting to go from this Christian holiness church upbringing into Catholic.
Right.
Because with the Catholic, so I was christened here in Cayman when I went to Belize in order because Holy Redeemer is a Catholic school in Belize. And most people don't know this, but to go to a Catholic school, you have to be baptized Catholic. So when I landed in Belize, I had to be baptized in order to go to school.
Really? That I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah, so me and my two siblings, me and my two brothers, I should say, we had to be baptized.
So were you taught by nuns and
No,
priests?
they were just normal teachers.
Okay.
They were not. It's not until you go to high school, then it is the nuns.
Okay.
It is the nuns.
Okay.
And I only remember because my mom talks about it all the time.
So did she go to Holy Redeemer?
I don't know which primary school she went to, but I think she went to...
And she's from Belize City too?
She is.
Okay.
She is. So every lunchtime, like we would walk to, and so at lunchtime and what was the other time? Once school was done, then we would walk to my grandparents' house. Well, my grandfather's house. I never met my grandmother on that side, but yeah, we would walk to my grandfather's house. Yeah, it was such a different world. It's such a different world because it's funny because I can't remember where it was, somewhere in Miami or something. And this is like not to like diss or anything like that, but like some of the street corners in Belize, it smells very unpleasant. So somewhere in Miami, I was walking, I was like, wow, it smells like Belize. Like, you know, because I remember it took me right back to my childhood and walking down those little alleyways and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Belize does have a smell.
It
From
does.
Actually, the last time we went to Belize, we landed and we're in the airport, like walking in, and my sister was like, "You smell that?" I'm like, she's like, "That's Belize." I'm like, "Yes, that you're right." I'm like, I literally do smell that, and it is Belize. Yes.
Yeah, it's such a different world. And I did do some, what was it? When I was Miss World, I actually did something over there. We did a school supply drive. We gave out 100 bags to one of the schools. And this will tell you how different of a world it was. When we gave out those backpacks, I can still remember one of these little kids picking up a backpack. And the teacher was like, no, put that one back. Go pick up a different color. And I was like, no, like, let him have the color that he wants. And she was like, he can't walk around with that color backpack in his neighborhood. And it was like, ooh, right. We're in a country where your backpack, it doesn't matter if you a kid or what, that is gang affiliated and they will hurt you. They will hurt you severely. And I was just like, man, like, geez. You really don't know like your privileges that you have, you know,
Until you experience something else. And that's the thing about Belize too, is that every single window got bars in it. Yeah.
Yep.
And it just feels, you're in a different sort of environment. It's
100%. It's so different. So I mean, and I think that was one of like it could be like where like the more compassionate side of me comes from, because I know the state of where some of the people I care about are coming from. And I know the privileges that I have over here. And I think that is what consistently drives me to serve as well. Now as a Christian, but at the time when I didn't really have that relationship with God, I knew how bad some people had it. I really, really knew how bad some people had it. And people I cared about deeply. One of my best friends in Belize, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, I would love to run into her. I have no idea where she is, what she's doing in life, but she literally lived in something, probably not even exaggerating, the exact space that we're in right now, like from here, like back.
That's it.
Her mother and her brother lived in that. There was a little stove couch up in the corner, and do you know, despite living in conditions that I don't even think she had tiles, it was like dirt floor, she would take me to her house every lunchtime and feed me.
Aww.
Every lunchtime I would have food. And then when my mom found out, my mom had a business in Belize at the time, the Hungry Hippo, best fried chicken, best to
The
this
Hungry
day.
Hippo. Wow.
Yep.
Wait, why? That sounds familiar. That's a great name. I don't know.
It was, they named it after me because they said I wouldn't stop eating. So my mom ended up hiring her there up until it closed, I believe. But yeah, Yeah, so it and as a kid, again, going back to being childlike, as a kid, you don't know no different. You're just like, this is my friend, you know?
Yeah. You know, it's so true. I remember, you know, I've been to Belize a bunch of times too. And then like we go to Cayo a lot, San Ignacio. And when we were driving out there and you get closer to San Ignacio, you start to drive past the river. And I would see the mothers washing the clothes in the river with the kids. And I would just be struck with how joyful they were.
Yep.
And there was just like joy on their face. And then I'm like coming from like, we don't wash our clothes in the river, you know? And it's like, I don't think I'm as joyful as they are. And it's so, you understand what it means, like, you know, to not be burdened by possessions. And
that is
how
true.
unimportant that is when you see the joy and the smiles and the laughter of the mom washing her clothes in the river where the kids play with her. Yeah. I remember that. That definitely struck me. Mm-hmm. We always, my sisters and I, always, you know, we'd ask each other, do you think you could have grown up in Belize? I say yes. Yes, I would have loved that.
I do know that my life would have looked very different. Very extremely different, because especially as a woman, and one, as a woman, and two, I was never the greatest academically. Belize is all academics. All academics. Like over here, I was in every sport. I would lead in this club and that club and key club and in cadets, and my grades were like, right. And that's what made me stand out. In Belize, I wouldn't have stood a chance.
Interesting.
Not a chance.
It's but more academic heavy over there?
Very academic heavy. But my eldest brother, he stayed over in Belize and went to high school there before coming back to Cayman. So he's more Belizean than any of us. He did go to the one of the boys' high schools, St. John's.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So he's very Belizean.
But you were born in Cayman?
Yeah. So all of us were born in Cayman. We just all left at the same time. Yeah, obviously, you heard I was sent back, but everybody else was there for 5 years. I was there for 4. And then my brother stayed beyond the 4 years. So he had just started high school, so he did the full high school, stayed over there with my uncle, and then came back. And then my big sister, she was old enough that when we moved, she stayed in Cayman. So she's the only one who's never left.
Okay.
She's never left. She's been her whole life, and she's not leaving either.
So there's 3 of you?
Yeah. Well, there's 4 of us. So I have an eldest sister, 2 brothers, and then myself.
Wait, so you're the youngest?
Yeah.
Wow, that's strange. I would never have guessed that. I would have guessed you were the eldest.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not the only person to say that?
No, because the eldest have your personalities usually. And the youngest in the family don't usually have your personalities. Do you know your MBTI?
What is
Myers-Briggs? I'm going to ask this on every episode.
The INFJ
yes.
thingy?
INFJ.
I think that's it.
You're definitely a J. 100%, because that's the decisive part of you, like your mom was talking about. As soon as she knows what she wants. Boom, 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 boom. That's the J.
Yeah, there is pros and cons to that. But I mean, now it's more pros. But at the time, sometimes it just, when I was younger, I think it was just stubbornness.
Yeah.
And now it's, I've rephrased it based on the present day Leanni, which is I'm headstrong.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's the thing about your sort of natural personality is you're going to be naturally good at things. And, you know, J's tend to be naturally very good at making decisions, quick, decisive, don't change their mind. And that's a skill. But what really, I think, develops your personality is to develop things that you're not good at. Yeah. So then, in other words, in this, you can always make quick, decisive decisions, but can you actually take a step back and not make the decision and maybe wait it out a bit more, explore some options? Like that's like my type of personality, right? So my type of personality, I can go on the fly. I don't need to make a decision until the moment, right? And that can be a good thing. But for me, what I've been trying to do is the opposite. Like, no, make your decision, be more decisive, you know, work that other angle that's not your natural way of being, right?
That's so interesting because I'm trying to learn what you have. I am really trying to learn what you have. And I realized recently, it's like, I think I have a problem with control. So it's something that I've worked on diligently. I've gotten better at it. But there's certain, and the only reason why I now know that it's a problem, which I've told some of like my church friends, I'm like, I can't let the Holy Spirit in because he just wants to like run my life and like, how dare you, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so that is
and you don't know
now,
where he might take you, right? It's like, no.
the stuff we do. But yeah, so I'm working on it diligently. But I do want to retake it because the test, because in the last 2 years, I have changed so drastically, especially because I am very much so, have always been, probably after I left Belize, I turned into a very introverted person, extremely. Most people would have like seen me places or stuff like that, like before Miss World, before becoming Miss World, but they never knew anything about me because I was always in the background. I was always active in doing things, but put me back here, like where no one can see me.
Right.
And
Well, that's what the INFJ is, but keep going.
yeah. So, but after that whole experience, obviously now I've been very out there and in the public
Challenging
eye,
that.
and now I go into rooms and everybody know me, and I can't even walk through the supermarket without a "Hey, Leanni" or a wave or something, you know. So I would like to retake that just to kind of see like, did my personality change? Like what happened? Like from going from nobody talk to me, just keep to myself, like to hello, hi, oh, da, da, da. Like it's day and night, honestly.
Well, I think it sounds like you challenged yourself a little bit. Maybe the Miss World stuff kind of made you have to be more out there. I don't know.
It was very intimidating. It was scary. It was very intimidating and scary because when you go into a room and I'm gonna say this, if it wasn't for me representing the Cayman Islands, if I did not know within myself, everywhere you go, you're a walking Cayman Islands, I wouldn't have pushed myself like that. Absolutely not. It was so easy to just hide away, tuck away. No, you are a representation of your people everywhere you go. So even I still remember one of the very first events I had was the LA inaugural flight. That was baptism by fire, because now I'm in a foreign country representing my people. The minute people see a shiny crown, especially in the US, they're like, oh my gosh, that's a queen. And so before people even came to me, I walked around people, have you been to the Cayman Islands? And and that was so uncomfortable. Like I literally, like my chest did this. Like it just seized up inside of me when I was walking up to somebody. It was so scary.
Really?
It was so scary.
So this was at the inaugural party or event or whatever when you landed in LA, and
so
then you.
There was multiple events. So I can't remember. I think there may have been when we landed, if I'm remembering correct. I don't even remember half of it, but there was a party itself, and then the very next day, first thing in the morning, we had to be back at the airport for a ribbon cutting ceremony. The first flight that would go from LA to Grand Cayman. So as soon as we touched down, it was easy here, because when we left here, they had the whole reception here. And that's fine because they're your people.
Right.
But when you went over there now and you don't know nobody, everybody's a stranger, right? The minute we landed there, very next morning, I have to go talk to all these American passengers that are about to get on this inaugural flight and tell them about my country. And I love talking about Cayman, but I don't like talking to strangers.
Yeah.
I don't. And yeah,
So do you like talking to strangers now?
I can. I wouldn't say.
See, you're still an INFJ. You just challenged yourself, so you got out there a bit. That's great.
I'm more comfortable with doing it.
Good.
Because, and that is a part of being a Christian. God will tell you to talk to strangers. He will. Constantly. I still remember one day I was driving my car and I saw this person walking on the road. God said, pull over, go pray for him. I was like, what? That's just crazy. Like, how dare you ask me to do something so wild? And I did it. And sure enough, that person was like, you have no idea how bad I need that.
God will. often ask you to talk to strangers. I never thought about that, but that seems to make sense to me.
Yeah.
I seem to remember Jesus talking to strangers all the time. You know, like there's always some random person that he'd be like, "Yo, come here 1 second,"
He's
and
just
then
chilling
like,
at a well. Some woman walks up.
exactly.
Give me some water. Like, yeah.
Why were the disciples so amazed that he was talking to a woman when they came back to the well? Remember in that same story, because they went to the village, he stayed up by the well. And then, you know, was talking, and then when they came back, like the Bible said that they were amazed.
I mean, at the end of the day, the one thing that was obviously very unique about her situation was she had multiple husbands. Right. So everything in terms of the context at that time, she's coming in the middle of the day. No woman at all at that time was coming in the middle of the day. So there can only be one reason why she's coming in the middle of the day. Like something must be wrong with her. And chances are that's what it was. Right? Because the woman would go when the sun was cooler, early in the morning or late in the evening. She was coming in the middle of the day because of the level of shame that followed her from the type of life that she was living. So to see Jesus, I mean, at this point, the disciples have seen him do miraculous stuff. They know he is the Christ, you know, like, well, they struggled a little bit. They're like, we know you're the Christ, but we're not sure.
But we're not really
like,
ready for all that yet.
Yeah, so like they knew he was from God. And this holy man is talking to this woman that no one wants to be around. And he did that over and over. Even it's so strange because the disciples themselves were essentially that, right?
True. They were just strangers, random people that didn't deserve God to speak to them or whatever, right?
Yeah. So that's my personal opinion. I don't know exactly why, but that is what I would think would, like, for me, if I were to be like, what Jesus doing talking to them? Like,
I love that story a lot for lots of little bits. I love when he said to her, "Go get your husband," and she's like, "I don't have a husband," and he's like, "You didn't actually lie. You don't have a husband, but you're living with a guy who's like the fourth guy or whatever."
He's like, "You got 5." And she was like,
but she didn't quite lie, right? Because she wasn't married, right? So
yeah.
I love that little bit. And then I love the bit where she goes back to the town and says, "I found the Christ," and tells everyone in the town, right? And then the next day, you know, Christ comes or whatever, and they all get to meet him, and they say, "We believed you when you told us, but now we know for sure." And I thought that was so interesting. Why did they believe her sort of just like right off the bat before they even met Jesus? But they claimed that they did, which I thought was super cool.
Yeah. Everything that he did was so intentional because,
you know, they say he was an INFJ. I've heard that. I need to do some more research.
Test on Jesus.
You can back test people, right? Like it's a thing. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So INFJs are very driven by their heart. That's the F, the feeling part of it. Is that similar?
100%. 100%. Yeah, and it's so interesting because each of those characteristics has a lot of pros and cons, right? Yeah, because even with that, I've had to learn to not be taken advantage of, because when you care so much, you give so much, and that can lead to burnout. That can lead to some people, like I said, taking advantage of you. Like, oh yeah, like, oh well, Leanni just a pushover, so let's just go in. And especially when I became Miss Pearl, everybody wanted my face. You know, they wanted what they could benefit off of that. You know, so yeah, it comes with some learning, unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, for sure. Which again, going back to service, right? I care. Right. And I care.
Right. That's that INFJ spirit, huh? Do the test again and let me know. Yeah. I'd love to know.
Yeah. Can we change?
That's a good. What do you really think about that?
If we can change?
Yeah. There's this movie. I don't know if you ever watched Bridesmaids. Maybe not the most Christian movie out there, but there's one scene where, you know, the two bridesmaids they're fighting with each other because they want the attention of the bride, right? Like, I'm really the best friend, right?
This movie sounds familiar. Yeah, I think so.
They're at dinner or wherever, and it was like the two bridesmaids, just them, and they're like, you know, one of them was like, "Oh, you know, the bride, whatever her name is, you know, she's really changed a lot," and the other one's like, "Well, do people really change?" And the other one's like,
yeah, they do. And then the other one's like, no, maybe some parts of them may change, but not the whole thing. And so there's like a back and forth. It's like the existential question of, do people change or not? What's your take?
100%. 100%.
And so are you saying that nothing stays the same?
Change is a constant. Change is a constant.
That's a true statement right there. So no, nobody stays the same then. Is that even, would that be a fault of the human to not change?
I would be very puzzled if someone doesn't change. I would be, because I don't know. That's very. I cannot fathom somebody not changing. Because every day you're learning something new. Every day you're encountering new people. The world is changing around you.
That's true.
How do you yourself not change?
Yeah. I mean, like even COVID itself was such a big impact on, like, everyone kind of changed after that.
You had to. It's like you go from being out and about to now you locked in your house. You can't even go down. Your brother can't come look for you. Like what? And I have a really close family and I was just like, I need a hug. Like like somebody come hug me. Like, yeah. Yeah, so with the world, the way how it is, I don't understand how it, and I've seen, and especially being a Christ follower, I've seen how Christ changed me, and I've seen how he's changed others. Like, I mean, like some people are like black and white, man, like it's day and night, like the transformation is, probably can only be God. It really can only be God. Because even with me, the path that I was going down, it was, the Bible speaks of the path of destruction. That was really, and no one, well, I wouldn't say no one, but not everyone really, the majority of people who know Leanni have never known or seen that side of me. Right? And I'm be honest, a lot of it was internal too. A lot of that was internal. I had to work out a lot of things internally to become the person that I am today. And that was, I would say, 3 to 4 years of intense work to become the person that I am.
And what does that work look like internally? When you're saying internal work, is it like, are you journaling? Are you meditating? Is it, is it yoga? Is it, I don't know, what does that look like for you?
It's a culmination. It's definitely a culmination of different factors. The first step for me was that spiritual step. Right? With the spiritual step, I started doing physical stuff. So I started working out. Somewhere in there, there were traumas that I had to open up to with my family. So healing takes place in community as well. A community is very important. So my family was the first community that I went to with a lot of that. I ended up in therapy as well, talking to my family about it, praying about it. God led me to the right place and person to guide me through that. I did a very specialized type of therapy called EMDR. And that took me so far. And then I did what was called Encounter, which is, I guess you could call it a spiritual retreat where you do very, very intentional, intense work. Just you and God. There's like people there like coaching you, coming into agreement with you, praying with you and stuff like that. But they're just there. Everything else is just you and God. And a lot of that is you and God bumping heads. Like, because as much as you want to get rid of something, sometimes it's been there so long, it's all that you know, right? So to let that go can even be difficult, because what does life look like? This is my protected identity. Me. Yeah. It's my identity. It's protected me, like how do I let this go? So that was intense. So that was another layer of it. There's so many steps to it, but I would say just take that first step, whatever that looks like for you. My very first one was through just praying. That was the first thing I did, was just praying. Praying took me so far, and then another layer was added when I was ready. Then that other layer took me to another layer, then another layer, then another layer. You just keep peeling back those layers, and eventually it's like, oh my gosh, that's what I look like.
Yeah, it's true. The little steps, and then next thing you know, you've walked a mile, right?
Yeah,
And
don't try to get there tomorrow.
Yeah.
You will not. I'm still not there now.
Yeah.
I just spoke about control. I didn't realize I couldn't give up control. Like, well, that's me.
Me? It's not me.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm still, and you'll be learning and changing forever. And if you're stuck and you haven't changed in a little while, I would beg to ask what you're running from. Yeah.
It's true. And it takes so much introspection. It is really hard to, I was thinking about this the other day. We are the only people that we cannot see with our own eyes, So like everyone else you can see.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah. But you yourself, you cannot see. Obviously with the camera, with the mirror,
Yeah.
you can, right? But 90% of the time you're walking around,
Yep.
you can't see yourself. And I find it interesting because people find it hard to know things about themselves. They think they know themselves, but then they don't quite see how they're perceived outside of that. And
Yep.
it takes another person. And in one of the CICBD classes, actually, I love this class that they did, is that you had a list of things, like 10 things, like personality traits. And it was like a scale, like agreeable or disagreeable, professional or amateur. And what you did is, like everybody in the class, is that you fill someone out for someone else.
Huh.
Right?
Okay.
And then you don't know who it is. It's anonymous. So you get your results back and you see how other people look at you, and you learn so much. You learn so much from it. It was really just eye-opening. And then you realize that, they're right, actually, their assessment of you. And you didn't realize that, so it's very eye-opening. I love that. But I think, just to talk about, I don't know what made me think about that, but, change, I guess. And being able to adapt your personality, I guess, and become conscious and more aware of who you actually are and not who you think you are.
That internal work, man.
And it is internal work.
Yeah, but I do journal as well. You did bring that up. I journal very heavily. Very heavily. That started probably like 2019. So yeah, within that 3 to 4 years. Well, that's 5 years now. But yeah, I start, no, that is 4. Can't do math, jeez.
I just push everything back to COVID. So I know that was 5 years ago. So that's like...
Yeah, I think it was just before or just around COVID time, I got my first journal.
Right.
My first dedicated journal. I'd had some journals before, but I just wasn't serious about it.
Yeah.
But that one, I started to really journal everything. And even in that, like when I go back and I look at that, some of the things that I wrote down, I was like, wow, that's how I was feeling. And even in that is where you really do learn about yourself.
You do. That's exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing that it takes writing something out sometimes to really be able to understand how you feel about something.
Yep.
Huh.
Yep.
Yeah. I do. I love World War II, and I always binge those documentaries. But the Nazis journal was like crazy. Yes, that was like part of what they did.
Wow.
Journaling every day. Boom, 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 writing the dates. And so there's so much, like the historians have so much to work with. But that was like part of their culture. Was
journaling?
Yeah.
Huh.
Every day. Little random things like how you might journal, whatever. Yeah. Little random things. Not that Nazism is something to strive for, but I just find it interesting that that's what they were doing, amongst a whole bunch of other things. But,
Yeah, journaling does definitely help, though. It is so holistic. Life in general is holistic. Like body, mind, and soul is a big thing, a very big thing. Yeah, but what was it? There was a documentary done recently on, what are they called? Blue zones?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, I think it's called blue zones. Basically places where people live over 100, so centurions.
Okay.
So they did a documentary, and one of the big things that they found was going back to community,
Uh-huh.
that was a big part. So it was food, community, and there was a third pillar. I can't remember what it was. But community was a really, really, really big thing. And I think that's something that unfortunately Cayman is falling away from a bit. So that would strongly be a mission of mine that I'm pursuing right now. Is I've found a community, but it's also developing other communities, just places and spaces for people to gather. Because I spoke to somebody literally just today that it's very unfortunate that here in Cayman, especially people in my age bracket, even younger and older, if it not a bar, you know, where you gonna
hang
gather?
out? Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people now, we're doing, it's more so sports, like not necessarily sports, but something active.
Right.
Yeah, so
That's a good thing about Cayman. There's a lot of sports
yeah.
to take part in.
So that's where we've had to kind of gravitate towards. But even in that, yeah, we just won a game. What we gonna do?
All right.
So it's creating spaces now with other people like myself who don't really want to be a part of that scene. We just very chill. I'm a really chill person, like really chill.
So you're saying on that documentary that the people who live to be 100 and over generally had these things in their life?
Yeah,
community,
Look,
food, and
you look it up. Like those blue zones, they had. The more places that they went to, they identified some pillars.
So why do they call it Blue Zone?
I have no idea.
What is the 80% rule in Blue Zones? Is that it? Hold on. Let me see if I can just get the quick message about what this is. Oh, shucks. I told chat to go. Let's see what chat says. I just put in Blue Zone doc. The 5 Blue Zone, documenting sort of 5 Blue, where people consistently live longer, healthier lives. Core themes: diet, movement, purpose, community, rest, and faith.
Yeah.
So the food, the community, purpose, and movement. I like the movement one. I like the community one. I think that's very important. I think, ironically enough, I think that COVID has kind of bumped everybody back into more of a community mindset than maybe pre-COVID.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, COVID definitely changed everything. There was a lot of things that I think we could have and should have implemented at that. Just during that time, so many things were actually going well in terms of community. But we failed to pivot. Unfortunately, we failed to pivot at that time.
Which time? You mean before COVID? Like when was
so
things
when
going?
we were coming out of COVID now. So during COVID, I remember every morning before COVID, I would wake up 5 a.m., go running, come back home, start my day. Every morning, except for Sundays. Every morning. All of a sudden in COVID, did the same thing. See a few more people. The roads were packed with people walking. And everybody saying hi to everybody. And it was great. It was great. We were really getting back to what was it? Me and my family, we started like ordering the everybody was gardener all of a sudden. Got these bunch of like fruit trees growing peppers and ginger and all these things. Family calling me, hey, I got some eggs today. My day, I could drop them off on your porch. And all of a sudden, we were back to this sense of coming on. They calling, hey, I just got this big. I don't even eat tomatoes. You want these tomatoes? Like, and then now I don't know when the last time I seen my auntie. All of a sudden, it's just we've gone right back into our little silos. Yeah, so that was one of the things that were going really well. Really well, and our environment was recovering, like all these little things, and we just kind of just go back to what it was.
Yeah,
instead of,
it's easy to slip back.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're doing a lot in the community to keep that spirit alive. So
I'm trying.
That's great. I saw you even the other night presenting at Cayman Connection.
Yes, that was so exciting.
Yeah, that was. So were you part of Cayman Connection? Were you one of those?
No, actually, I was not, but I did attend the last one. And I was just blown away by the awardees. And then this year in particular, it was really inspiring because I knew 3 of the awardees. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, look at my friends. Like,
Right.
yeah. And then people who inspired me, because I mentioned Jamal Estwick. He was one of the awardees.
Okay.
He was the recipient for the tourism award. And then Rita. Rita, oh my gosh, I still remember the first time I saw her tell a story. I was like, I want to be like that. Like, she just drew you in. Like, her storytelling is phenomenal, just phenomenal. So I like really being inspired by her, then doing it the following year after seeing her. Right. That was like amazing. And then there was honestly like, nobody better could have won that award for arts and culture and heritage. Like, she really is a pillar in the community. And
she really is. And I think I think people are starting to realize that a bit too, more than they used to maybe give her credit for. But she's like, you know, she's been doing it for so long, and against like such adversity here in the island where there wasn't a lot of creative spirit. So she kind of gets reminds me of the P31, you know, woman.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that is so true.
So yeah, no, I saw you there. So I know you got a lot going on, and I know you got to leave soon. So, what are you up to for? What are you going away this year? Are you hanging out in Cayman, or it's summer right now? Like, what's your plan besides doing 1,000,001 activities? Which I'm sure I don't know how you keep up with all of it, to be honest.
At one point, I used to say God and coffee, but I found balance. I have now found balance. I'm very disciplined with taking at least 1 day a week for full rest. And I heard it all the time, and I thought it was so cliche that when you love the job, when you love your job, you never work a day in your life.
Right.
I'd be like, whatever. I see it now. And this is how I know I'm really doing what I was called to do, because as much as I love to fly, man, like, honestly, like, some days I just wake up and it's like, why? Like, why? You know? But every day I wake up, I'm excited, but because I get to serve my people, I get to serve my community, I get to make the world a better place every day. So that, I found my why. That's how I do it. And I take my 1 day a week to completely recover. And I'm very disciplined with my yeses. I don't say yes to everything anymore. I had to learn that. I don't say yes to everything anymore.
It sure looks like you say yes to everything.
I say yes to what is impactful and purposeful, and in alignment with what God is calling me to do. When I get tired and worn out is because I said yes to something I should have said no to. Yeah, because it's not in alignment.
Therefore, that's so true how that happens.
Yeah.
When you say yes to something that you shouldn't have, you always mess up. It's always turns out to be a bigger deal than you thought it was going to be. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was great to chat. You know, like we haven't talked that much out there in the real world, and I didn't know quite who you were, and then I knew your mom because we used to work at Barclays way back in the day, and so when she's like, "That's my daughter," I was like, "That's your daughter?" Like I see her all over the place. Like her face is everywhere. Like you know, but then it made perfect sense too. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's obviously your daughter."
It's like, well, you have the same face. Like.
But I appreciate you coming by, and I definitely wanted to talk to you about God. So I'm you know, that's definitely why I wanted you on here as well. You know, I don't get to have those conversations that often with that many people.
Wow. That's a privilege. Thank you. It really is a privilege to talk about, because I didn't know which direction that was going to go. Sometimes it's a hit or a miss, but
right. Yeah. No, neither did I. But I know, you know, God would come up at some point, and I think that's one thing I really kind of still love about Cayman and about Cayman, even politicians, is that we're still, you know, believers in God. And that's anywhere else in the world that's frowned upon.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, how can you be dumb enough to believe in God? That's what somebody might think, you know. Being an atheist, that's smart. Being in God, you're probably not that smart, you know. You're not that intelligent. Oh, you haven't heard about evolution. Yeah, you're, you know. So, but I love that here in Cayman, especially, well, in the Cayman, like Caymanians, you can talk about God.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that, and I wanted to talk to you about God. So thanks for that.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, and good luck with P31.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear more. I'm glad you're part of CICBD. Who's your
Romaine.
Romaine? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I love the group a lot. So I look forward to seeing you out there in the small business world.
Yeah. Gonna see a lot of me.
And definitely look forward. I think you said you're going to do a podcast.
Yes,
You want to launch a podcast.
That's in the process.
I think that's important. That fits you perfect. It's part of the whole community thing. It's part of why I even want to do this too, is just to talk to people.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, you know, and
Yeah. Storytelling is very important, especially if we want to preserve what's left of our culture.
right.
But I recognize that I think I told my story enough. I wanted to hear other people's stories. So I can appreciate what you're doing, because it was my hope as well. As just, I feel like your story could impact someone. How about you come on my show?
Good. Yes, I love that. So I look forward to that. I think, you know, Cayman needs more of that. So, I look forward to seeing that podcast. Well, did you tell me what you're doing for the rest of the year?
I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm taking it one day at a time. I might end up in the Brac for sure. That for sure. Have to go to the Brac. I don't think I've even been for the year. It's been so crazy. It's been a crazy year.
I've been a bunch in the last few years, and it really grew on me.
Yeah, I used to go every month. Every month, the Brac used to see me. Every month. And it's been a while. So before the year is out, I hope to go there twice at least. At least I feel very disconnected right now. Yeah.
That's funny. Brackers have to go back to the Brac to feel connected, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go see some soldier crabs.